Hello friends, welcome to your December monthly reading for Taurus. Let's see what you have going on this month. Okay, Two of Pentacles, the Hermit. Okay, keeping to yourself, making a choice maybe. Okay, Three of Pentacles in the reverse. So, as I was saying, we have the Two of Pentacles, the Hermit, and the Three of Pentacles. So, a lot of Pentacles in this reading here. A lot of times that can signify that, you know, your life is either focused or kind of needs to be focused a little bit more on that material realm. So sometimes that's your home life. And particularly when the Three of Pentacles comes up in the reverse, it's like, and the Two. The Two is like finding balance there, which can be work-life balance. That's usually what comes up when I have readings that have both there. Having trouble finding that balance and creating that teamwork in both realms, in both your career and your relationship or home life. It doesn't even have to be like a romantic relationship. But it could be that you're having trouble finding that balance and, you know, really making the partnerships at each level work. Again, not necessarily romantic. The Hermit shows that you're kind of wanting to do this alone. Again, speaking to that idea of like having a hard time with the teamwork and partnership and things like that, working with other people. So, you know, I know this time of year, a lot of us are more prone to things like depression, and that can certainly make us climb into our hole and not really want to be around other people. So there could be that element of it, but it more feels like whatever the situation is where, you know, you're finding that balance and it's not really coming together, you just kind of want to do it yourself. There's that old idea that, you know, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And this is what it feels like. It's like whoever you are in partnership with, again, on the career or home life, wherever it's applying to you, it's like either you're feeling like they're not really doing a good enough job for what you need. Not that they're not trying. They're trying. But it's just not really working out how you had envisioned it. And it's not really how they envisioned it either. So something there is not quite working out, and you're having that feeling of like, just let me do it. Just let me handle it. And we've all been there, right? It's sometimes is just easier to do it yourself. So that's kind of what you're feeling now. I want to go back to this Three of Pentacles here. With it being in the reverse, it's like there's something that you're missing. So even if you look at this in the upright, it's like the person is venturing out on their own down this one, I always get that mixed up with the mirroring, with this one side, right? They're heading down this side, and the other people are kind of like maybe more contemplative of the other way, right? But that person has already made up their mind. They're figuring it out themselves. And it feels like that's what you're wanting to do. In doing that, you might be disregarding someone else's bright spot. And what I mean by that is like, whatever's going on to create that unbalanced sense, where things aren't really coming together, things aren't playing out as you kind of need them to, or you feel like you need them to, you're kind of overlooking the skills that those other people bring to the table. And that those skills could be really helpful in solving this issue, right? But again, you're kind of set here trying to figure it out all on your own, and you have it in your mind that like you're gonna go, you're just gonna do it. It might be easier, to your credit, it might be easier to just get it done and do it yourself and all of that for right now. But long term, it creates more problems down the road, right? Because then you are just shouldering this thing as you progress into the future if you don't figure out how to share the burden. And it creates a space between you and the people that you're working with, because now there's this understanding that like you don't trust them to get it done, or you don't think that they can do a good enough job or whatever, but it creates this ripple between you that it's just going to grow if you don't figure it out. So I think that's the caution here in this message. There's no cups present. There's not a whole lot of feeling involved right now. You're kind of coming at this with your logical mind, and that's not a terrible thing, but you have to understand how that makes the other people involved feel, and you have to understand what the implications are moving forward of that. And like I said, I mean, eventually that turns into you just keeping this burden all to yourself, and it creates a cycle. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'm not even seeing like this, you carrying a burden or anything. This is just the intuitive part of these cards are showing me, for some of you that are watching this, it creates this cycle of you carrying this burden alone. Kind of because you want to, but you don't really want to, and it won't serve you well to do that in the long run. Again, in the short term, yes, it is easier. In the long run, not so much. So maybe rethink how you are balancing all of this stuff. And yeah, try to include the other people who are involved with you here. Try not to be too much of that hermit energy. Again, the hermit's not a bad energy. A lot of times the hermit pops up when we're doing some soul searching and we're connecting with our intuition and our spiritual side, but it has that aspect of being alone. And in this particular reading, it's showing more that shadow side of, even though it's not in the reverse, that shadow side of like just taking it all on yourself. But balance is important. And I think that's why it's in place number 1. You got to create that balance. That message is pretty straightforward, but we'll still pull an advice card real quick and see what it has to say. Oh, that one was about to fly. Baby steps. This is important. When you are used to being in this hermit, it doesn't feel like this is something out of the ordinary for you. And I feel like that's really called out by this advice card, because, you know, everything we just talked about as far as giving away some responsibilities and trusting others to, you know, they have to grow in taking over these responsibilities. Of course, they're not going to do it as great as you do, especially on their first try. It takes time to adjust and to learn and to figure things out. So help them. that's what the baby steps are about. You help them. You don't take it back. When we are in that mode where we're used to doing everything alone, we tend to strong arm the task instead of allowing it to get worked through. Baby steps. Sometimes this baby steps also means giving a smaller task. Maybe you tried to bite off more than they could chew at first, right? Giving them too big of a thing to take over. Maybe for you stepping into teamwork, with it being maybe scary or uncomfortable, it's certainly new. It's certainly something that you are not used to and hesitant about. So just delegate smaller things, right? Whatever that might mean to you, find smaller ways to fold them in and to accomplish the tasks at hand, to bring that balance through. Because again, that's going to be the most important part. When I look at this, it's what stands out and it's what is screaming, really. You are very competent and confident on your own, but it's time to learn how to make teamwork work. Okay? So we'll leave that there. Originally, I was just going to post this to Patreon and not do monthly readings on YouTube because I haven't been feeling well. But I think I'll reverse that. I like having free readings on YouTube available. And then if you are interested, we'll dive a little bit further into an extended. I don't think it'll be as long as my normal extendeds, but we'll see. Let's dive into what might be helpful in navigating this balance and, maybe figuring out what's at that core of hesitance for you. Okay? I have a feeling you already know when we're talking about it. If this message is for you, you know when I start talking about it and you're like, oh yeah, that's it. And that's the magic of general readings for me. You can tell a story the same way, and each person who hears it will hear something different and be able to find help in it. That's my hope. So if you found help here today, please do like, comment, share, do the thing. And I hope to see you again soon, here or the other platforms. I love you lots. Hope you have a great day. Bye.